In today's video, I played the new Calamity update as a rogue, which was super crazy. Also, Happy New Year's everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great year. This is gonna be a crazy video, and this took super long to make, so if you could just subscribe, because only one person is subscribed. So check if that's you, it's free, and you can always unsubscribe later. Enjoy today's video. So first what I did is activated Revengeance mode and opened my starter bag. I then found this cave not that far from spawn, and then I decided to explore deeper down to see if I was able to find anything useful to me. I then found this chest that was underwater and it had a magic mirror in it, but then I also found a life crystal which increased my health. Then I decided to settle down and see what other rogue items I could craft. Then I found this granite biome and it had a bunch of life crystals, which is super helpful. Then I found this weird looking ocean biome thing. As I was exploring, I found a marble biome and a mushroom biome together. I got really close to dying, so I decided to head back up to the surface and build myself a house. Then once I built a house, a bunch of NPCs moved in and I was able to buy a bunch of stuff. Then I made a chest area to store all of my items and headed back down into that cave. Then I found a chest room and I opened the chest and there was a flare gun, which is completely useless. And then I got baited into my own death. Once I respawned, I made this like arena builder thing, which like infinitely builds an arena for you with platforms and like heals and all that. I'm not gonna lie, without this I would not have survived this at all, because I hate making arenas. Then I headed to the snow biome and started to collect stuff for my first ever armor set. My first armor set was called the Ruffian armor set, and it increases rogue damage and gives us stealth. Then I decided to make this like castle looking thing for a bunch of NPCs to move in. Then I went back underground to find some ores that can help me craft my first few weapons. Then I was really lucky with life crystals that I was able to get to full health to help us defeat bosses. Then the first weapon that I made was called the Gilded Dagger, which was used with throwing knives and gold bars, I think. Then I made my second weapon, which was called the Crystalline, I think, but it was really good. Since I made these weapons, I thought it was really powerful to defeat Brain of Cthulhu, and I was completely wrong. This was definitely difficult. Then right after I respawned, the Goblin Army spawned, and I had to defeat those guys. But even though I died to the Brain of Cthulhu, I had all the resources I needed. Then I got some candy cane blocks and decided to make a candy cane for my house. Then I found some obsidian underground and I thought it was time for my next armor set. That night the Eye Cthulhu spawned randomly and it was super difficult, seeming that I didn't have a really good arena, and it was very unexpected. The Eye Cthulhu's attacks were way more different than vanilla, and also it had a different attack. Eventually I died trying to recall home to go to the nurse. Then I decided to power myself up because I thought it was time for my first ever boss. Then I spawned in the King Slime, and this is how that went. At one point in the fight, the ruby off the King Slime's crown came off and started shooting me or something. I genuinely don't even know what happened. But eventually I killed it and I got some cool stuff. Then a meteorite landed and I was able to craft my next weapon, and it was super easy to mine, seeming that I had the Vein Miner mod on. Then once I collected all the ore, I decided to head back home and craft my next weapon. Then I headed to the jungle to see if I could find anything to help me craft the lightning boots. Once I got home, I made the ivy whip and the lightning boots. Then I found out you can make this infinite teleport home potion thing, and it's super useful. Then I headed to the Crimson biome and decided to defeat the Brain of Cthulhu once and for all. And after a long fight, I finally defeated it and headed down to the underworld to start crafting my next items. When I got back home, I crafted the molten pickaxe, and then I crafted some other rogue throwing items. And then I defeated the Eye of Cthulhu, and it was super difficult. Just about halfway through the night, I finally defeated it and opened the treasure bag. Then the next boss I defeated was the Desert Scourge, and it wasn't that difficult, seeming that it's supposed to be the first boss I defeated. Then after a very short fight, I defeated it because my stealth and this weapon is super OP. Then I bought the ice skates and made the frostbark boot, and then made my next boot upgrade and decided to defeat the Perforator Hive. I really don't know how to say the name. Eventually I died because I was super unprepared. I then found a bunch of upgrades that I could do. And I also found out I can make my own demon altar, which is really cool. Then I went into the underworld and I found this really cool item. Then I decided to reforge it, and then I decided to craft my next upgrades, which were new boots and some other items. So now it was time to defeat the Perforator Hive. Don't get me wrong, this was super difficult and took really long. In the middle of the fight, these other bosses that came with the Perforator Hive started to spawn, and it became even more difficult to survive. And after a very long fight, we defeated the Perforator Hive, and I opened the treasure bag and got nothing useful, but that's one step closer to defeating the game. Another early game boss I was supposed to defeat was called Crabulon, and I haven't defeated it, so I defeated it now, and it was extremely easy. Once I defeated it, I immediately went to Skeletron and tried defeating it. It was super difficult, seeming that the attacks were more different and modded, seeming that I'm playing Calamity modded, but it was still very difficult. Then once I defeated Skeletron, I finally had access to the dungeon. And now we were almost halfway through our journey, but we had to defeat the next two bosses, which was the Slime God and the Wall of Flesh. So I first decided to start getting used to the Slime God, because I had to defeat it a couple times to get what I needed. Seeming that it was one of the last pre-hard mode bosses, it wasn't really that difficult, it's seeming that I kept my range most of the time. Right around this point, there wasn't enough platforms, so I decided to head back down to the surface to go to my old arena. And just like that, the fight was over. We finally defeated the Slime God. I defeated it a couple more times after this just to try to get my new armor set, and it worked out perfectly. But now it was finally time to defeat the Wall of Flesh, our last pre-hard mode boss. The rogue weapons that I was using were barely going through the Hungry, but I was still able to do a bunch of damage. At this point, I started to get low and started to run out of platform, which got me really scared. And after a very intense battle, the Wall of Flesh was finally defeated, and my nerves were just no more. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.